All right, it is that time once again to hit the books, part of the Hammer Betting Network, alongside the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Joey Knish. We have producer extraordinaire Zach Phillips. I am merely Brad Powers. Finally, it is game week here as far as college football goes. We've been waiting, 200 days, it seems like, for us to actually have some football to talk about. We can always talk football, but actually game-specific. Market was moving like crazy this morning.
Woo!
Yeah, the screen was lit up to say the least. Before we start diving into some week 0 action, which Knish and myself have already went over a ton of these games, and they moved considerably, usually in our favor.
Hope you've been listening all summer, baby, because you'd be sitting real pretty. You'd be as happy as Joey K right now if we had been listening to this show all summer.
Yeah. Let me remind everybody that Hit the Books is brought to you by BetStamp. The easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is to use multiple sports books and always get the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp. BetStamp compares odds across every sports book for games, futures, and player props. You can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. Download the app today. If you're looking to sign up for a new sportsbook account, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/hitthebooks or hit the link in the description. If you sign up through this page, it helps support the show. Knish, never a dull moment in your neck of the woods. Jim Harbaugh, he's suspended. He's not suspended. He's suspended. We haven't seen much market movement there. In fact, it's been opposite. We saw Michigan steam this morning. Are you a part of that Michigan steam? And what's your value? What's your thoughts on the Harbaugh news?
Well, my thoughts are that I'm about to take this case on pro bono and just get rid of this. I'm over it. I'm sick of this. Listen, if anything more comes out of this than this 3-game suspension, if whoever's running Michigan, get them out. Because let me tell you something. Auburn, Alabama, programs that are actually serious about football would not be letting this happen. This would be it. Tennessee is handing out like Chick-fil-A bags of $100,000, and they got like, we're going to lose one scholarship. So this better be it. In terms of the game, I know we saw Michigan steamed a little bit. I know we talked about it on the show a few weeks ago. We were on a little bit of both leans. I liked it under 35. You liked it over 35. There's 136 out there. There's still a 34.5 out there. So you can still kind of pick your poison depending on who you're backing in that one. But overall, I'm just hoping that this is it. But I'm sure with the Harbaugh, the clicks he drives, that the NCAA will continue this ridiculous witch hunt to make themselves look relevant.
Do you want to go head-to-head on this game at 35 or no?
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. All right, I'm ready. That's the way to kick it off. I like, a little head-to-head. I'm still laying. I'm okay. I think a little concerned if Sharon Moore. I don't know what the deal is there anymore if he's suspended. If not, whatever. I'll still take it, baby. I still think Michigan's putting a number on him.
All right, I'll take that. Head-to-head, Zach, 35. Even though I just gave you a point because, most of the market's trading, 35.5, 36. Look at that, 36.5, even at penny. Even baby. With a significant penny lean. We'll see what happens there.
That's the kind of man you are. Even though on your Circles Off appearance, all I'm going to say is I saw you wore the hair was done. You wore the finer attire. And a lot of great question, Johnny. Great question, Rob. We've been doing this show for a year. I don't remember hearing any good questions from Joey K. So let's.
I'm usually the guy asking questions. I'm the host. You're the star.
Hey, listen. I filed that one away, babe. I saw you had the little threads out for that one. So, but I enjoyed it. If you haven't listened to that, Mr. Powers on Circles Off, quite the episode. Had a good time listening to that one.
Yeah, I got a 4 out of 10 rating from that guy that's been doing the podcast ratings, though. He said, don't listen. I don't have that creative of a process when it comes to
He's a harsh grader.
Football. What?
He's a harsh grader. He's a harsh grader. He grades on a tough curve.
I think you got higher grades, so.
Saying. That's that's not everybody can. Oh, here we go.
There we go. Yep. Isn't particular. I don't know. I'm sorry it's not interesting. I don't have some, exotic model that's revolutionary. I don't. It's just old school power ratings, grinding it out. Nothing big. The tax evasion, I did mention, I like to have some things on the books. So
I tell you what, I will give you, before we did the show together and really knew each other, I thought like I'd be like, is Powers really doing Like I thought it was a little bit of a show, the whole year-round sales thing. Then like getting to know you a little bit, I was like, this guy does that. He's watching spring games at 2 a.m. in January. Like watching old school games. I was like, it's all legit. He's touring, stadium tours for this. So I'm a believer now in terms of. I don't think there's a harder working man in college football. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a sad existence. I don't have much of other life. That's just all I do.
I'm
I'll
a
be honest with you, and then we'll start getting into the games. You know what? I just finished up watching for the first time ever. This is going to tell you that all I do is watch football. I just finished watching The Sopranos. Never saw it until this summer. That's how dedicated I am to God. I don't even watch anything TV wise. I just watch, like you mentioned, spring games and football games. Let's start it off because the board was lighting up today.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask you, maybe you know the groups that were hitting into it. I only recognized a few of the movements. Obviously, Mr. Muscles was on Virginia Tech.
Yep.
I agree with that one. I have bet Virginia Tech several times in that game. I think there's value there. Would I still lay 15.5? Actually, I'd still lean that way. I made that number 17. So I agreed with that one. Another friend of the program, Tailgate Tent, fired on a few totals. Do you know what the other group was firing in today? Because, I mean, there was 10, 12 moves. It wasn't anything that I recognized. Not that I disagreed with any of them, but are you part of it? Was that you moving all that stuff this morning?
No, not all of it. A couple. We liked the Duke Clemson under. So that was one that came in. But there were some, and obviously on the show we talked about one of the ones with totals we loved last week, the UTEP Jacksonville State over, which went early this morning. Which I'm still, even though even at 53.5, I'm still leaning that way. So I know that was a popular one with a lot of people I talked to. But yeah, there was some other stuff that I did not recognize. A couple of them I did not recognize in terms of who was firing away on it. But obviously it was good to see. Was good. Really felt like we were back this week. And our boy, Nathan, our boy, Mr. Rourke, with all accounts, the clean bill of health. So we saw that one come down. And
yep.
Listen. I saw the early weather report in Ireland. Could be a little rainy there, Mr. Powers. Are you sweating that one with Mr. Fez to start off the season?
Let me ask you just a general question. Does rain really affect your total?
Not unless it's like a monsoon.
Yeah.
But it seemed to be like light rain with light winds so far, and we're like whatever. I mean, we're still 6 days out, and it's weather halfway across the world. So no, I'm not. I'm just trying to light a little bit more flair into that game, which I'm already super excited for.
All right, let me get to a couple of things, questions. Stephen Robinson, what's your opinion on the San Jose State USC first quarter over 14, first half over 34? I have not bet that total. I'm kind of wait and see, on that one. I did mark San Jose State, just generally speaking. I thought they were an over team this year, just from personnel. Offense compared to defense. A lot of their defensive guys gone, most of their offense back. And obviously USC is, until we actually see the defense step up, I always want to lean over in Lincoln Riley games. Have you done anything with that total? And that's the only way I would lean on that one, but I'm kind of wait and see. It is week 1, week 0, and my buddy Fezzik has duly noted that the last couple of years, week 0, week 1, most of the games have went under.
Yeah, I wasn't running to, I guess it depends on how much you think USC's defense has actually improved. I think the talent level is better. Is the performance going to be better? Are they going to let a team the caliber of San Jose, put up, a 21 or something, and you get like a 45-21 or something in that? I haven't touched it. I think, I know it's gotten some steam that way. Now that it's 64-65, kind of out of that realm where I'd still want to play it. So that one's just going to be kind of a C for me in terms of what USC's newfound defense looks like. I do agree with you on San Jose State being an over team as well, but I don't have a strong opinion of where it's at currently.
And we haven't seen too much movement in this one. Willie Hill Caesars had an early stupid number on the USC side that I took advantage of. But other than that, I haven't really gotten involved on this one. it's going to be the sad thing is we got, the defending Heisman Trophy winner, a top 10 team, and that's Pac-12 Network. That's a shame. That should be, we got nothing against New Mexico State and obviously Massachusetts, but that's the primetime ESPN game, and USC and the Heisman Trophy winner is regulated the Pac-12 Network. Just doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm shocked the conference went under.
Poll in the chat right now as far as the Notre Dame Navy game. We will get to that. Fezzik versus Powers, and basically it's the total. I'm on the over. Fez is on the under. I'm still confident. I mean, even with the raining forecast right now, I just don't see Navy's defense stopping Notre Dame's offense. And I think until Notre Dame actually sees it for a couple of series, there's always that adjustment as far as Navy's offense goes. So we saw a little bit of movement on that one today. Some early over, a little bit buyback on the under. A lot of disparity there in the marketplace. You are sitting it out, Knish. But I'm comfortable with my position. I mean, I don't know if y'all want to go with Fezzik. That's more power to y'all.
Blue horseshoe, baby.
Yeah, there you go. Couple more. We already mentioned David Shaw in the chat. Virginia Tech got steamed. Yeah, that was Mr. Muscles. I agree with that one. I have bet Virginia Tech. Parlaying USC week 0 with Oregon State week 1. No, I would not parlay it. I don't have enough of an edge, obviously, in the USC week 0 matchup at the current line. I do like Oregon State week 1 against San Jose State. That one's still showing value. But again, when a team's playing week 0, we mentioned this last week, Knish, watch a little bit of that USC San Jose State game. If there's great disparity between, what the expected and the expectation as far as the result, go ahead and get involved because there will be books that still have that Oregon State, San Jose State week 1 lineup. So that would be my recommendation there. Have you done anything with the Oregon State, San Jose State week 1?
No, I am a bystander on this one so far. I kind of lean your way at some of the Oregon State 16.5s. But I don't have a strong take on this one in terms of, especially with kind of some of the questions about their offense kind of coming into that. I kind of want to see what it looks like under DJU. Are they going to do a quarterback rotation week 1? How are they going to split the reps? So that's not one that I was dying to get involved with yet.
Let's go back to the chat. Onion Man, thoughts on Louisville -8 against Georgia Tech? That one's pretty much stayed 8. You and I talked about this months ago.
Months ago, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, hey, man, that was a very fair number. I don't expect it moving. It was a take 10, lay 6.5 situation. It's been in the middle, and it hasn't moved at all. So I'm not involved in that game. I bet a little under, but now it's clearly gotten away from the market. I'll see if it drops any lower. I might even play a little bit on the over there, but I've not gotten involved on the side. I'm guessing you haven't either.
No, it's one of the rare games that it has barely moved a half point either direction since open. Yep. And we kind of, as you said, we kind of both said that, if it moved one way, we'd be one side, moved the other way, we'd be on Georgia Tech. I don't have, unless this, we see some traction either way on one of these, it'll be another one that just you don't have a strong opinion on where it's at currently.
We could get some disagreement here. BK in the chat. How do we feel about South Alabama +7 against Tulane? I like Tulane. I've taken a Tulane position. Hasn't moved too much, though, and that worries me a little bit. Anytime I give out recommendations, it's only moved a little bit. I know you're Mr. South Alabama. You were on top of them before anybody was in the world last year. What's your thoughts? South Alabama is one of the top teams in the country as far as returning production. The reason I'm on Tulane, it's not like I'm wild about Tulane. One of my biggest season win total positions is on the under on Tulane this year, and I bet South Alabama over. So when I still have a power ratings disparity on an individual game, which I do, and I bet one team against it and one team that I'm planning to play against, like South Alabama, I'm positive on them compared to market, and I'm negative on Tulane, and yet my power ratings are still saying back Tulane. I mean, that was one of the major reasons why I took Tulane here. And I thought, my goodness, South Alabama, go back through their schedule last year. They played really well against UCLA. I'll give them that one. That's a game they easily could have won, but they avoided the big boys from the East out of the Sun Belt. There was no Coastal Carolinas and Appalachian States and Marshalls last year on the schedule. They got benefited from that. when they had to step up in the bowl game, obviously they couldn't do anything against Troy, the other good team they played in the Sun Belt.
I remember all too well.
When they had to step up in the bowl game, I was on South Alabama. I was Mr. South Alabama. They got legitimately their teeth kicked down their throat. So I don't know how good this team is. I think they're the best team in the Sun Belt, but I still like Tulane. They got Michael Pratt. They still got some weapons there. I like the head coach there. What say you?
You know what? It was a small play for me at 7.5. I don't think there's any out there. Actually, it seemed through 7 at a couple places. It would only be a buy. It's if you see 7.5 come back somewhere, small buy for me. I don't have a again. Obviously, it was a team we rode early last year and some future prices that were live for a while. But I mean, just differences this year. I mean, last year, you were getting them as a massive dog early in the season, and it took a while for the market to catch up. Now, they're being priced as the favorite in the Sun Belt, so not a team that I'm going to have as much exposure on. But yeah, I played a little 7.5. Not something that I have too strong a conviction on, though, as far as what the board's looking like.
M. Halvany in the chat. Win totals. UAB under 5, -175. Minnesota under 7.5, -170. Mississippi State under 6.5, -170. I bet all of them at different numbers. Out of that group, probably Minnesota under 7.5, -1. Nah, you know what? I'll take Mississippi State under 6.5, -170. That would be my favorite. Stack ranking them: Mississippi State, Minnesota, UAB. Out of those three, I bet all of them at least at those win total numbers. So, what say you, Knish?
Yeah, I would agree with you on the first two. At the current on UAB, I'd probably be a little bit lean toward the over there, but I agree with you, Mississippi State being the one of those three that I'd actually still place a wager on.
Let's go down the chat. David Shaw's got a ton. He's going down the whole card here. Toledo +10 against Illinois. I don't like that. There's been some movement on Toledo +10. I'm on the Illinois side. There's some other guys who reached out to me that don't understand the Toledo side either. So I just got done talking with the guy. I think he's one of the sharpest guys in college football. So maybe you can do a process by elimination there. He's with me on the Illinois side there. So I don't get the Toledo money. I just don't. So I like Illinois there. I gave it out. I mean, I'm standing by. It's the best bet on the show. So that's how confident I am in this one.
Yeah, another game on the Powers head-to-head. The Cal North Texas has seen some buyers on both sides too.
Yeah, a lot of North Texas money. Now, I will say this. Quarterback position is what you told me about this. So, look, Knish more tied in than me. They have not – Sam Jackson might not be the starter. When you're reading camps now, it's not like he's big-time struggling. There's just no separation between Ben Finley, who I'm not a huge fan of, the Fernando kid or whatever, if I'm mispronouncing his name. My apologies. He actually looked okay in the spring game, but the last scrimmage, all three quarterbacks did well. There's no separation. So, yeah, I'm concerned that there isn't a leader yet, but I'm still okay with Cal. I just don't think the market is fully grasped the situation at Cal where they got 15, 20 transfers. And I don't think the old school way of doing power ratings has got them upgraded enough. I know North Texas, has some talent there, but I mean, with a new coach and their 2 or 3 best players leaving post-spring, I still like my Cal position, even though the market's against me. What say you, Knish? Where are you falling on that one?
You know what? I knew a couple of guys that were on the other side there. I really like. I know that went this morning, but I don't. I think 7's probably about fair where it's trading now. I did like that under quite a bit. I know that went early today. There's some 58s, 58.5 out there. It really got hit hard today. I think if there's some 56.5 one play, 56.5, 57, a couple of stale 56.5s out there that I think would be okay for a smaller play. But it really got hit hard. That'd probably be the favorite, of a lean at the current numbers. Would be the under 56.5.
We'll have, because we're for the tiebreakers and some of this. Keep in mind, hit the book.
I would play that.
We're going to play that under 56.5 or 57?
Or the 57 at penny, the -115 under 57
yeah, we'll do
at penny.
Put it in. Penny under 57. There you go. There's a bet for you guys there, courtesy of Knish. If you're interested in more bets, make sure to hit the books channel. It's just not Knish and myself. Keep in mind, you got the Never Punt, Never Parlay with Parker Fleming and Douglas Farmer. They go on Tuesdays. I have to make sure that I can retweet that show, so make sure you're checking that out if you enjoy the content here at Hit the Books. Let's keep it rolling here. Trip in the chat. Cal beats Auburn week 2. Yeah, I mean, my luck, I could see that. Cal getting beat, upset outright to North Texas. Everyone throws them in the trash. They suck. Auburn, that game's a late one, too. I think it's starting at 10:30 Eastern time, that week 2 game, Cal and Auburn. Yeah, I could. That's a dangerous spot because SEC traveling late West Coast is something that they just don't do very often. So we'll get to we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, though. Let's see what's going on week 1. Ryan Hart in the chat. Ohio plus 4.5. I actually think, what do we get? 5.5 here.
Yeah, that was one of the summer plays. I mean, listen, if you haven't listened to any episodes so far, not only were we on in the summer, we even said the 3.5, 2 weeks ago, we're still good. We thought as long as Rourke played, they would go down. And now you see most of the market, 2.5, even a Circa's at 1.5. I think I was surprised. There were no buyers once that got through 3. Now, it doesn't mean there won't be. But I think you might actually see this. I think there will be some Aztec buyback at some point, but it might be once this gets closer to pick, because there's still no bites at the 2.5, and even Circa taking the highest limits at 1.5, and no one's bought back yet. So
that surprised you a little bit?
Oh, look, I did think there would be. So I think once it got through 3, I thought there would be a little resistance.
There'd be some resistance.
Hasn't shown up yet, so that may signal we might be going a little bit farther down. But yeah, I kind of think that there's got to be a little bit at some point.
Kudos for you for that pick on that key number of 5.5. No, but all joking aside, really good pick by you. And obviously Rourke getting announced. I mean, some of it was news related today with the Rourke news that he's officially going to start. If you're not familiar with Rourke, best player in the MAC, in my opinion, on the offensive side of the ball. Let's talk. Let's make sure we hit every single week 0 game. Louisiana Tech FIU. A little bit of money on Louisiana Tech. I am surprised by that because if you've been following along, Louisiana Tech a little bit banged up at running back. Crosby, who I really like at running back, he's going to be out for this week. FIU is a terrible team, but man, I could tell you, I've kind of hedged a little bit. Willie Hill Caesars had 3-4 months ago, 7.5 is what I bet La Tech at. But I'm telling you, in the last week, I had bet plus 11 FIU. Have you taken part in any of this yet, Knish?
I haven't fired as of yet, but I'm gonna. I think it'll be an FIU, a small FIU position at some point here. Even a couple of 11.5s out there. I know there's a lot of this summer transition from La Tech thinking that I know people I respected in the industry that think they'll be a lot better this year was really, really down on the product they put on the field last year. Yeah. And I know FIU. I like I don't like their roster. I like their head coach a bit, and I think McIntyre allows teams that you saw it when he was doing it at Colorado. He's able to get his talent level to overperform. So I agree with you. It would be. I was kind of waiting to see how far this would get up. Now it seems like we've probably hit the top here at some 11.5. So yeah, that'll be the side I'll be taking a small part in.
Yeah, I made it 10. So anything over 10 FIU. I'm not saying it's a big bet. Keep in mind, I bet almost every single game on the board. So, but that's worth a pizza bet. I mean, there's limited action. You want a little bit of action on these games on week 0.
Yeah, the late game, the only 9 o'clock kickoff, baby. You're gonna sit there and not what? I don't think so.
Yeah, we'll see if I'm chasing after after the Notre Dame game. We'll see. DM in the chat, Brad, were you behind the South Florida plus 13.5 steam this morning? I wasn't. I do agree with it. Very sharp guy gave that out this morning. I'd already bet it. I'm not going to even tell you the numbers, but I got better numbers on South Florida. I know first-year coach, a lot of uncertainty, but Western Kentucky I've downgraded significantly, even though I still think they're the best team in Conference USA. I just thought that was too many points there. I wouldn't bet it now, but I certainly, 14.5, 15, 14, 13.5. I thought there was some value there. Did you take part in that steam this morning? I'm guessing you did.
Yeah, for sure. Agree with you. But again, that's one that is, I think gone, shaped pretty well now. Western Kentucky is a team we talked about in some of the conference preview that I thought could be a, somewhat of a vulnerable, favorite there. South Florida, a team that hopefully is on the rise. That's one that, for a lot of the offseason was sitting out there even above 14. And so, I agree with that move, but seems to be about right now. I'm kind of interested to see, will this get down to 10, a little bit of WKU buyback. I'm not a total believer in Western Kentucky being able to replicate the team they were last year. So we'll see what happens.
Do you agree that they're still the best team in that watered down Conference USA, though?
Yes, I'd say very vulnerable favorite, though, would be my that's the, when we did the preview, that was
New Mexico State.
The one conference that I thought, was worth the value on some of the long shots, as we talked about, UTEP, New Mexico State, was because the teams at the top, Western Kentucky and Liberty, we thought would both take a step back this year and aren't like massive elite teams to begin with. So, I think what better way to find out than a week one at home versus USF?
Two more games, week 0, that we haven't talked about yet. Massachusetts, New Mexico State. I am on the Massachusetts side. Anything above 7 for me is worth a bet. Obviously, earlier in the summer, we're talking double digits. I preferred that. Have you like New Mexico State? You're Mr. New Mexico State. Are you waiting to lay 7 here? If that's the case, I think you might see it.
I think so too.
Yeah, so I would say to anybody out there, if you want to play New Mexico State, I know in the chat talking about laying 8. Don't lay 8 when you can lay 7.5 right now at reduced juice. But I would say wait, because I think there's a greater chance this goes to 7 than back up to 10, where I took part in a play there.
Totally agree. I would almost guarantee, if it doesn't show up this week on game day, you'll see some buyers taking the 7 and the hooks there. And if you're in front of it, it's one of those. If you're going to monitor it or have some alerts on, the bet stamp alert for when it gets there, I guarantee you'll see a 7 on this game at some point this week at some book. So I know that's not the easiest way to do it, but don't lay 8 out there, because I think you'll see a flat 7 somewhere at some point.
Last game, week 0, DM in the chat. Brad and Joey, are we supporting the boys from Hawaii this weekend? No, I did not. I'm more next weekend. There was some movement on this. I guess I do regret not playing. There was some like 18.5s out there. I was waiting to think, where's this going to go? Because I didn't show too much value. I was hoping to see something a little higher, but I don't know. Vanderbilt has beat up a little bit on the defensive line. A couple guys are going to be out for this weekend. So that could be a little bit of an issue, but Hawaii's not going to be able to run too much still. Have you bet it? Did you take part? Because Hawaii got some money here yesterday.
Yeah, you know what? I not in this game. Obviously, we talked about Hawaii, a little bit ago versus Stanford. That actually came down even further. It threw 7 at some places there.
Yeah.
So I thought that one had, would have stopped at 7, but it's gone through 7. I'm probably a little bit higher on Hawaii than, what relative to some in the market. But this week one at an SEC. I know it's Vandy at an SEC team traveling halfway across the world. Is just not the area I want to back them to start. So no, it's nothing on that one for me. I think there'll be some better spots to play, as we talked about, versus Stanford, and then in the Mountain West. So I'm kind of gonna sit that one. I think the Vandy one out, or maybe look to trade that one live.
M. Halbany in the chat. Hawaii over 3.5. Yeah, that's a good bet. It's a season win total. I have made that bet over 3.5. I think, even to dive in a little bit further, I think DraftKings, one of them, either DraftKings or South Point, is offering conference win total at 1.5 over there too for Hawaii. I agree with Knish. I'm a little bit higher on Hawaii. And I mentioned this. I said it was in the weeds. I don't think people realize how improved Hawaii was at the end of last year. Yep. They were covering games left and right and very close to winning like 2 or 3 more games outright as significant underdogs. They were able to upset UNLV, but I'm here to tell you that they were close to winning a couple more games. I think had they done that, people would be a little bit higher. But I thought he did a great job, because at the start of the season, particularly when Vanderbilt was out there, I would have made a case that Hawaii was the worst team in the country at the start of last season. So And I will say this, I do expect them to play with a little bit of emotion considering what's happened there in Hawaii the last few weeks with the tragedy. Let's go down here. A few more in the chat. Michigan State minus 14 from David Shaw. This was from about 15 minutes ago. I'm anxious to. I brought this one up, Knish, because I know how big of a Mel Tucker fan you are. I can tell you, though, this. I have personally played Michigan State minus 14. I like that bet. My numbers say this should be 17. I am not a huge Michigan State guy this year, but minus 14 if you can find it. There it is, Barstool. That still exists. They're still trading there. I haven't even looked.
Yeah, it's still. They're. I think they got to wait for all the rebrand to happen, but it's still kicking. We basically still got Barstool on the cover for now.
There we go. Yeah, I think that's. I would bet that. Would you? I know. You're Mr. Mel Tucker.
I bet a 14 as well. So that tells you all you need to know about my opinion. Central Michigan. I'm not totally convinced in terms of them being able to. I mean, their offense just fell off a cliff last year. Are they going to be able to turn it around, and what's that going to look like? I don't know. I'm not a big buyer, so yeah, I think if you can find I don't see Barstool. I don't see many other 14s out there, but 14 or better was the number that I'd buy on. If you see it come back, if you don't have access there. That'd be a small. It was a smaller play for me.
And let's not overcomplicate things, guys. A lot of what me and Knish do, and a lot of other people in the industry, if you got an off-market number, the entire market's laying 14 and a half, and you find 14, you'd be surprised around a relatively key number. That extra half point will add up over the long term.
Totally.
I mean, that's all it is, pretty much. And when you're talking about being a successful bettor or not.
Especially when you're a few days out or on game week or later in the week, you're not going to have the, unless there's an injury or something, it's not like you're going to get these, the days of all the massive, 2, 3, 4 points of value are kind of gone. You got to take your half number when you can get it.
Yep. Connor in the chat. Caesars Commander-in-Chief winner market. Air Force the favorite at minus 145, followed by Navy and Army. Wow, I'd have to run some numbers on this one. I do have Air Force favored in both games. Man, and I like Air Force quite a bit this year. I don't know. That seems reasonable to me. What say you, Knish?
Yeah, I remember seeing that one at Caesars when it was there. I didn't have a strong opinion on it either way. I didn't actually play either way. I think it seems. I agree with you. Kind of in the fair realm there. That not something that I was dying to get a piece of.
No. Kyle Hardy in the chat. Sam Hartman over 27, 50 and a half pass yards. I don't know. I'm so negative. Chicken Little sky is falling on Notre Dame football that, it's up to 2,800 now. I'd lean that way, but it's always, is he going to stay healthy? Provided he stays healthy, he should top that. Much improved pass attack from the Irish this year because of Sam Hartman, but I still make no bones about it. I still think it's going to be a run-first team. Their best room as far as talent on the entire team is probably the running back room. So I don't think it's a slam dunk, but I lean that way. Did you – I know I kind of teased this in last week. Did you dive into any of the player props? I totally forgot about it.
Yeah, you know what? I actually I looked at them and then had one of my guys, friend of the show, Franchise KF, look at them to see our awards. Didn't really have anything that I was chomping at the bit at. And to be honest, if there would have been something good, I would have went and bet it and told you what I bet. We didn't bet anything. There was a couple of long shots that were in, but nothing that I was running to get down on. So I didn't. I looked into it. Didn't really have anything that I was dying to play.
Before I get into any more as far as questions here, let me remind everybody, Hit the Books is brought to you by the Circa Million 5 and the Circa Survivor Contest. When it comes to a contest in the state of Nevada, whether it's college football or it's NFL, the best contests are the Circa NFL contests, the Circa Million 5 and the Circa Survivor. $14 million in guaranteed prizes. There is no rake, so if entries go above the guarantee, all the extra money will go to the prize pool. Entries open May the 25th. Obviously, they've been open now for a couple of months. They do close here, rapidly approaching September the 9th at 2 o'clock. You got to register here in person at a Circus Sportsbook in Nevada, whether it's Las Vegas, Henderson, Sparks, or Reno. Weekly picks can be made through a proxy that you'll register with from anywhere. Circa Million 5 is basically an ATS contest. You're going to pick 5 games against the spread each week. It's $1,000 per entry, 5 entries per person. Winner takes home $1 million. There's quarterly and season-long prizes there. The entry that does the worst does get a $100,000 booby prize. The Circus Survivor contest, $8 million guaranteed to the winners, $1,000 per entry with a maximum of 10 entries per person. You pick one team straight up every week just to win the game straight up, but you can only use that team one time per season. If the team loses or ties, the entry is eliminated. You got to go 20-0 or be the last person standing to win. If a single person wins, they get the entire $8 million pot. If multiple people go 20-0 or multiple people are eliminated the same day, then obviously they'll split the pot. Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday combined for a week, Christmas Day also a week there. That is the Circa Million 5, Circa Survivor. And speaking of Circa, because I know everybody wants to see my fat, ugly face and say hi, I will be broadcasting, and Hit the Books will be broadcasting live at the Circa Sportsbook, 1 o'clock Pacific time. This Friday, we are doing a live show at Circa. So if you want to come down, say hi, or that I suck, and say I'm dead in the water on the Notre Dame Navy total, feel free. We'll take all comers there. Again, that'll be live. Hit the Books, 1 o'clock Pacific time, Friday. So are you coming, Knish, or are you still scared of airplanes?
I am not going to be able to make it out, but I will be watching in spirit and potentially hopping on the stream. So listen, I'm looking forward to at least being a little part of the action.
We will miss you, my friend. A couple more in the chat here, about 10 more minutes. David Shaw, Connecticut plus 16.5. Yeah, I mean, the market's trading mainly 15 right now. I mean, I'm not around a key number, but if you're getting 1.5, I lean that way. But I would wait. I've been told that some people like NC State. So that's a hint there that you might be getting some NC State love as we get closer to game time on that one. That's next Thursday night. Ohio State, minus 28.5 in the chat, BK. No, I actually would lean the other way at 28.5. I'd give me the hook on the dog there. Although what worries me is this. It looks like Ohio State's going to play both quarterbacks. When you got both quarterbacks, they're trying their damnedest to show off and win the job during a game. So I have bet this, and I know there's some money on the under. I kind of like the over when you're talking about two quarterbacks competing for a job that you get no foot off the gas pedal in the second half. What say you, Knish?
Yeah, I tend to worry about what Indiana's offense is fully going to look like. It's a team I'm way down on overall, but I agree from the Ohio State side of things that, yeah, you're going to see 4 quarters of probably, there are 2 guys in line for the job, which means 4 quarters of tempo, 4 quarters running the offense. So, yeah, I'm a little, sheepish to kind of, to fade that there. I would kind of lean your way. There's still one smattering 27.5 out there at one place. I know some people were big on buying those up, but yeah, it's not a one that got too strong of opinion on either way there.
Let's go more. They're coming in fast and heavy here. New Mexico's improved offense, scoring enough to cover against A&M. Yeah, at an earlier number, but it's now 3-4 points. You like the Aggies, right?
Yeah, I expect Texas A&M to have a significantly improved offense. I'm not sure what is happening with the New Mexico football program. So I think this is a game that Texas A&M can name it, and they'll be trying to show out versa. So, yeah, I laid some 37.5. You can still get a 37.5 there. So, again, not a massive play, but one that I'm not a believer in New Mexico going at all.
Kenny Loggins, the two of you, I'll meet you halfway. I'll go over the total. If you like the points on A&M's offense and the other one likes New Mexico's offense, 48's pretty low, to be honest with you. Although something's with Rocky Long leaving, when that was his protege, Danny Gonzalez, and he leaves to take another job. I'm not buying New Mexico like other people are. I think there's
I
something
don't
wrong
either.
there. I really do. Ryan Hart in the chat, double dip on West Virginia. Yeah, we've been hitting at that. Let's just wait, though. Let's not run. We've already got a bad number at 18.5. So let's not maybe take another bad bet here, but let's wait for 21. We mentioned this last week. I will jump back in on West Virginia at 21. It might be, we'll see depending on what happens next week. What might be ended up one of my stronger positions. Now, today, we did see some under money come in. I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you do.
Totally. I don't even want to. This is a powers-ish summer number that I had on this under. I don't even want to say what it is anymore. But yeah, it was one that we agreed on. West Virginia, all they've talked about all offseason is how they want to establish the run, become a running team, and neither of us are too bullish on Penn State offensively. So yeah, it's another one. Hey, as you said, I think you lined it up perfectly. Don't rush to the window to bet 20.5 because I think 21 or maybe even 21.5 will show at some point. So yeah, this is one that will be a little patient on the double dip.
M. Halbany in the chat, thoughts on Michigan MAC Trophy, Eastern Michigan, -130, Central Michigan, +160, Western. I like Eastern, to say the least there. Now, not a schedule in front of me. Are they at Central or they host Central? That would be I'm going to look right now.
Yeah, good question there.
They are at Central, so I don't love that as much. If they hosted Central, then I'd be all over that. But I think that sounds about right. But Eastern deserves to be the favorite there. Western, I'm way down on this year.
Yeah.
I'm kind of neutral on Central, depending on price. Adams got the starter job at UMass. I thought it was Puma Chow or whatever that got the starting job. Adams? Who's he talking about?
No, I think
that Puma Chow kid got the starting job. I don't know.
Running back, he was talking about that. Adams for running back for UMass.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. Look at you. They're going in deep.
Well, hey, listen, hey, baby, you can't bet UMass New Mexico State not know who's going in there. But,
there we go. It would help if I read the chat. There we go. Your reading comprehension's a little bit higher than mine. Willie Hill, Rocco in the chat. Willie Hill doing their college football contest. I don't think so. I haven't done. This will be the week that I'll start looking around. They haven't advertised, although they didn't really advertise the last couple years. And we're talking there were several $100,000 of overlay. I didn't fare well each of the last 2 years. I'm hoping they do it, but I'm guessing they won't because I think they were the combined the last 2 years, Knish, they were almost $1 million in overlay.
Yeah, that is not the Nugget one either. Those CFB contests just have not
taken off.
Sold. I mean, it just is what it is. Like there's not enough interest in. And you know what? If anybody could ever line up an online one, if one of the sports could do an online, I think then you'd get the interest to have people go out there. I think that's more of an NFL type deal, like we've talked about with Circa.
Yeah, and to put I'm a Nugget guy. I'll be in the Nugget just because I place almost every year. But to put in perspective, my first year I did it, there was like 350. Last year it was like 125. So it's went down significantly. We'll see this year. Might be dead. This might be the last year there for that contest. Let's keep looking here in the chat.
I'll give you. I tell you, I would clean up the last of the Minnesota flat 7 out there. If you haven't gotten in on that game yet, that's one that we
want to give that out right now.
If there's the flat 7 available on the board there for the Zach C's, I played it at 6, played it at 6.5. I still like it at flat 7. I think it closes above 7. Some people I know that I respect make it closer to 10. I'm way down on Nebraska compared to our friends at. Important. I tell you, the guy sells the company, and now they don't keep the market up here. So if that's actually, I'm going to add a little more myself there. If that's actually out there at Barstool,
we can be fair. I graded at 7 though.
I agree exactly. We don't want to give out the 6.5 that may or may not be there, but I totally agree with you that I think 7 is as good as it's getting on this game going forward.
Couple more comments. I got a heart out here in 10 minutes. Crestman, Circle Weekly picks can be made via Brad at a 33 1/3 cut on the winnings. Yeah, I'm still not, that sounds great, but I'm not proxying. I can tell you that. It was tough enough. They're trying to get me into this contest. And I said, man, it's Friday night. I don't want to be doing contests. I mean, if I got to leave. So I guess I'm in some Circuit college football contest this year. So more info on that if you follow me on Twitter. A couple more. Keep betting. Army versus UL Monroe under 48.5. I have not bet this yet, but you know what? The Army situation's not good on offense. I have laid Army in the game. I'm starting to get a little worried. Robinson, the outstanding, slot guy, running back, slot, wide receiver, he's been banged up. One of the quarterbacks that was in the competition to be the starters out. So I could see that. Have you bet that total or the side, Knish?
I haven't. I just think it's super hard to quantify what Army and Navy are going to be doing week 1. And I know, you've got a little bit more investment in the Navy, Notre Dame, but I mean, a lot of that's, with Notre Dame and the overseas angle where I don't know. I just don't know what these new military offenses are going to particularly look like. And I haven't been, a huge fan of what teams in the past have transitioned to from triple options. So, I'm assuming, you compared it last week to what Coastal did under Chadwell. So I'm just cautious, unless I have a really strong feeling. This is kind of one that I'm not going to jump into, just blind here of what they're going to look like. So, yeah, gun to my head, I'd take ULM in the points, but it's not one that I've actually invested on either way.
UTEP in the chat, I guess somebody on Twitter is asking about UTEP. I agree with the move on UTEP to flip the favorite, but I made it 1. I'm sorry, guys. These things have been out so long that, almost a majority of these are almost right in line within a point of my power rating. So you like the over.
We talked the total last week. Loved it. Hopefully you got in, you listened last week, you got in at a much better number. I still think 53.5 is okay for a smaller play. So I know we locked it in last week at much better. If you didn't listen last week, you saw it, then I'm still okay on 53. I wouldn't go past 54 though. 53.5 smaller. That'd be the stopping point for me on the over.
Any other topics you want to discuss? Hasn't been a lot of news on the injury front. I've been stunned by a lot of the quarterback news. I think
does
the one
seem Rising is. I'm not going to call him out yet, but I saw an article from one of the beat reporters today that said gut feeling, which is kind of an industry term for when somebody knows something but doesn't want to say it. So that he wasn't going to play. I think he's out. So
I agree.
I know that actually crossed through 7. It bounced back to 7. Still think Florida at 7 or better is worth some money because I would say he's highly doubtful now.
And keep in mind, if you're a watcher of the show, it was kind of at the end of last week's show. We said, hell, you know what? We could only see the line coming down. It was 8.5. We said, let's go ahead and bet it. You guys would have gotten 8.5. Just put it that way. I actually think it's going to continue to come down.
I agree.
I really do. I think where does it close without him? 4-ish, don't you think? Because Keedy hasn't been practicing either for him.
I know, right? They're going. It's going to be Barnes. Where I saw the Rose had the QB2 had the post on Instagram. So I know Barnes he's QB3. Yeah, he had some run last year, but I think it's definitely quite the downgrade, and so hopefully Mr. Napier can at least salvage something out of his career, make this within a touchdown. I've been one that I wanted to get your opinion on. Sam Houston State, BYU. What do you got for me on this one?
I haven't bet. I bet the under at a ridiculous number. I won't mention. Have not bet the side. There's little money on Sam Houston State. Sam Houston State's a team, one of the 10 teams I haven't bet their win total. I just don't know how to get a good grasp. And it's not the fact that, I'm uncertain about, them jumping to the FBS. They had such a unique season last year where they basically waved the white flag. They redshirted a bunch of players. I'm not sure how good this team really is. A lot of those guys are coming back. This was a team that, was at a huge disadvantage because they played 24 games in a 9-month period because they won the national championship in that spring game season a couple years back. I don't know. I'm so uncertain about that team. I don't like BYU this year. I've seen some money come in on Sam Houston State. I'm right in line. I made it right in that 23-24 range.
I bet the 23. There was some, I see it's a little bit of a juice 23 still out there. Pinner. I bet the 23. I'm pretty down on BYU and expecting a little bit of now. Sam Houston's offense last year was disgustingly bad in terms of like I would expect a decent bump. But yeah, if hopefully we get that, or the 23 won't get. But I liked the 23. Think it's a game that was trending. I mean, a game where you're seeing now dip into the 40s. I don't think the talent level disparity between these two teams is too significant. So
There
to
you
give
go.
me over 3 touchdowns, I like Sam Houston there. I'm even okay at a little even up to the 22.5. But I played at 23.
You want to put it down, Knish?
If you're good with it, hey, I like it. I think still, hey, I'd still play that 23 a penny.
All right, I'm okay with that. For a game that I haven't bet yet, don't really have a strong opinion. I don't like BYU under is one of my favorite win totals, so let's do it. One more, and then we'll get to the poll results. Trent in the chat, Miami, Ohio against the U. Have not bet this one. Little bit of confliction on the total. Guy that I really respect's on the under. My early numbers said over at different numbers. Have you bet the Battle of the Miamis yet?
I laid a little bit of the Florida Miami, but nothing on the total. And I'm dubious. This was not, it was basically a fill for one of my guys. I'm kind of in wait and see mode with Miami. It's one of those programs that I'm just not particularly keen to, and I don't believe in Miami, Ohio at all, but I'm not exactly like wanting to jump behind early season Miami, believing that they're going to have this, instant upgrade. So for me, it was a little bit of Miami, but I'm not going to tell you it's probably one of my least favorite plays on the board so far.
Poll results are in. 76% of the viewers are following me, the over. Well, let's watch the weather forecast. Again, calling for rain, but I don't know if it's, I think it's going to be a light rain. Again, I like the over there. Notre Dame Navy. Speaking of that, we'll be previewing Notre Dame Navy at that 1:00 show live at the Circa. If you want to stop in, if you're in town down on Fremont Street, want to stop in and say hello, we'll be broadcasting live. Hopefully, Knish, you could step in for a little bit and grace us your, wonderful presence. That would be nice. We can go a little bit back and forth there, but unless you got some closing thoughts, that's going to be a wrap, man.
No, I like it. Hey, it's game time, baby. Good way. It'll be great to, be sweating CFB this Saturday. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the Powers Fez Bowl to kick off the season. And hopefully you'll be throwing that BYU Blue Horseshoe in the ocean to start off the year.
There you go. Guys, make sure you're subscribed to the Hit the Books YouTube channel so you get notified in real time whenever a new episode drops or we go live. If you do enjoy the content, please smash the like button. If you're listening in audio form, please rate and review 5 stars. For all of our show content, make sure you're following at Hit the Books on Twitter or at that Hammer HQ also on Twitter. For Joey Knish, for Zach Phillips, I'm Brad Powers. You just watched Hit the Books, part of the Hammer Betting Network.